distracted driving may be the single largest contributing factor to traffic crashes today. It's easy to think that distracted driving is something that only other people do. But survey after survey shows that most teen drivers, both males and females, admit that they frequently engage in distracted driving. In a survey of more than 2,000 teens 16 to 19 years old, 86% said they have driven while distracted, even while agreeing that such practices are extremely dangerous. Teen drivers who admitted texting while operating a vehicle sent an average of 23 text messages each month while the vehicle was moving. Even worse, more than a third said they had nearly experienced a crash because of their own or someone else's distracted driving. Whether handheld or hands-free, using a cell phone while driving delays a driver's reaction time. Studies show this delay is almost equivalent to having a blood alcohol concentration at the legal limit of 0.08%. And at 0.08, all drivers show some signs of being impaired. It's important to remember that distracted driving is about more than texting or talking on your cell phone in the car. There are actually 3 types of distractions that all drivers experience: visual distractions, manual distractions, and cognitive distractions. Or, an easier way to remember these is to think eyes, hands, head. A visual distraction takes the driver's eyes away from the road to view something unrelated to driving. Looking at a passenger, electronic device, or scenery outside the car window are visual distractions. Even looking at devices inside the passenger compartment, like glancing at the radio, is a visual distraction. Any glance away from the road for more than 1 second is extremely dangerous. At 55 miles per hour, in the 3 seconds it takes to glance at a cell phone, messaging device, or music device, your car will move nearly 250 feet down the road. This is almost the length of a football field. And if you're looking at something other than the road, you could be in for an unpleasant surprise. In that length of time and distance, the car in front of you can suddenly slam on its brakes. Another car can pull out in front of you. A traffic light can quickly change. Or you can hit debris in the road. Depending on your reaction time and the speed you are traveling, it can take as much as another 300 feet to stop a passenger car. A manual distraction requires the driver to remove one or both hands from the steering wheel. Common manual distractions are finding music on an iPod or other device, eating or grooming, reaching down for a dropped item, or dialing a cell phone. A study done by Carnegie Mellon University showed that driving while using a cell phone reduces the amount of brain activity associated with the operation of the vehicle by 37%. Manually dialing a cell phone and holding a conversation is a combination of a visual and a manual distraction, but also includes a third type, cognitive distraction.
All right, listen, don't lie to me. I know you've been seeing him. We're done.
Cognitive distraction is perhaps the most difficult type of distraction to define, as well as to eliminate. In the context of driving, to be cognitive means to be fully aware of the vehicle, its speed, and other operational characteristics, as well as the roadway environment. To do so, the driver must be fully alert to changing traffic signals, warning lights and signs, other vehicles sharing the road with them, potential hazards along the roadside, and other external factors that could affect the vehicle's safe operation and your safe return home.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, Caleb. How's it going?
All right.
Okay, well, did you break up with Katie?
Yeah, I broke up with Katie, but I can't be with anyone that cheats on me.
Well, do you want to go out with Alex and I tonight? Might take your mind off of it.
Yeah, I guess it'd be all right. It'd be a good idea for me to get my mind off things.
Okay, cool. I'll have her send you the address.
Okay.
Bye.
Hello?
Hey.
Hi.
So, Caleb's coming tonight. Can you text him the address?
Oh, yeah, awesome, I will.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Finally, shoot.
Each of us experiences mental distractions even when we're not aware of them. If you've had an argument with someone, are worried about a test, or don't feel well, you are mentally distracted. When a driver is operating a vehicle, the primary task, while talking on a handheld or hands-free cell phone, the secondary task, Or texting. The driver's brain has to switch between primary and secondary tasks over and over again. Add mental stress to the equation, and the brain is quickly on overload. Even if the driver doesn't instigate an exchange of texts, the act of answering a text sent by someone else can instantly turn dangerous and even deadly. Reggie was just 19, a college student on the way to his part-time job as a house painter, when his SUV crossed the yellow dividing line on a 2-lane road near Logan, Utah, causing a crash that killed 2 people in another car. During the 6-month investigation that followed, the Utah Highway Patrol subpoenaed Reggie Shaw's cell phone records and determined that Reggie and his girlfriend had sent 11 text messages to each other in the 30 minutes before the crash. The last one was sent at 6:47 a.m., just 1 minute before Reggie called 911 to report the accident, and just about the time his SUV crossed the yellow line.
It's a drive that I'd made multiple times, hundreds of times, and on my way to work, sending and reading text messages, and I go across the center line and I hit another car head on. And there were 2 men in that car who were headed to work. And both these men had families that they loved and they cared for, provided for. And both these men were killed on impact. And it's something that's hard for me every single day. Something that I think about every day. I think about reading text messages while I was driving and what that took away from those families. I remember getting out of my car and I headed back towards the scene and I was calling 911, and as I got back to the scene I heard the gentleman in the third car on the phone with the police, and I hung up, and the only thing I remember him saying is, no, they're not breathing. And I instantly knew what had happened. The one man had a daughter, she's about my age, and it's one of the most difficult things I've ever had to hear. It was one day in court when they got the opportunity to talk to me, to say whatever they wanted to me, and she got up and she talked about how she had just gotten married. And she talked about her wedding, and she talked about how her father wasn't there to walk her down the aisle. And she turned to me and she said, "Because you took that from me." And she was absolutely right, I did. And I regret it for the rest of my life.
Another in-vehicle distraction is passengers. In a major survey of teen drivers who reported being distracted by activity inside their car before a crash, 71% of males and 47% of females said they were distracted directly by their passengers. Remember, nearly all distractions involve combinations of 2 or 3 types of distractions. Rarely is a distraction just one type. Anything that draws your attention away from the road can jeopardize your safety and other drivers on the road. When teen drivers carry passengers, studies show that their chances of crashing increase dramatically. A teen driver's risk of death increases by 44% when one passenger younger than 21 is in the car and no older passengers are present. The risk is double when there are 2 passengers younger than 21, and quadruple when 3 or more passengers under 21 are present. If you're going to transport passengers in your car, it's important to establish some rules for them and yourself. First, insist that they wear their seatbelts and be sure to buckle yours. Reduce the volume of music on the radio so that you can concentrate on the driving task and also be able to hear sirens from emergency vehicles. Place books, backpacks, and other heavy objects on the floor to prevent them from becoming flying objects if you have to come to a sudden stop. Don't allow yourself to be drawn into a confrontation or argument with a passenger while you're driving.
When are you going to start driving a cool car instead of your mom's van?
Don't eat, apply makeup, manually adjust the seat, text, or talk on your cell phone while you're driving. All of these activities are unnecessary and unsafe actions unless they are performed when you're off the road and parked. Anytime a mechanical or other problem forces you to exit the highway or road, move as far off the roadway to the right as possible. Some of the most deadly traffic crashes occur when inattentive or impaired drivers drift off the road to the right and strike stopped vehicles. Pulling over and stopping is so dangerous that most states have enacted move-over laws that require motorists to move over or slow down when police officers are present on the side of the road. These states will normally post signage indicating motorists should move over or slow down for patrol officers. Even in states that don't require moving over for emergency vehicles, it's a good idea to move over or slow down. Professional truck and bus drivers are trained to employ this safety practice on the road. Passenger car drivers should be aware that trucks may move over to avoid obstacles on the shoulder. Sharing the road means anticipating large trucks and buses moving over to avoid police officers and other hazards on the shoulder. Study after study has shown that over 2/3 of traffic crashes involving a truck and a car are the fault of the car driver. Many crashes occur because car drivers are not aware of a truck's size and weight, or of how long it takes them to stop, or how it is more difficult for them to maneuver around obstacles on the road. Trucks have longer wheelbases that make the vehicle more difficult to turn and maneuver in tight spaces. A typical heavy-duty truck and trailer can weigh up to 80,000 pounds fully loaded with freight. Traveling at 55 miles per hour under ideal road conditions, such a truck combination would need 430 feet to stop, or 1.5 times the length of a football field. This is a stopping distance 91% longer than that of a passenger vehicle. Most crashes involving passenger cars and trucks occur in daylight, on straight, dry pavement, and in good weather. But because trucks are so much bigger and heavier than cars, when a fatal collision occurs between the two, 80% of the time it is the driver of the car who is killed or injured, no matter whose fault it is. Most commercial drivers are highly trained professionals with good safety records. But all too often, they must attempt to share the road with cars that follow too closely, cut in front of trucks, or travel in a truck's blind spots where the driver can't see them. One of the most important things you can do to avoid crashes around large trucks is actually very simple. Stay out of the truck's blind spots or no zones. A large percentage of crashes between cars and trucks occur when cars move into the areas around a truck where the driver can't see them. The first no zone is directly in front of the hood of a large truck. Long hoods can create blind spots up to 20 feet in front of the bumper. Easily enough room for a small passenger car to move into without being seen. And traveling in this blind spot leaves the truck driver no room to stop or maneuver if the car suddenly swerves or brakes to avoid a hazard. Each side of a large truck also has a no zone. The left side extends from the driver's door to the middle of the trailer. Passenger cars should move through this zone steadily and not linger. The right side no zone is much larger. It extends from the front of the truck all the way to the rear and 3 lanes over. Truck drivers are trained that this is one of the most dangerous areas around a truck, and car drivers should avoid it if at all possible. Remember that if the truck driver has to make a wide right turn, a car in the right side no zone would be directly in its path. Another no zone is directly behind the trailer, where a car driver's visibility is severely limited and where the truck driver cannot see you. A simple rule to remember is this: if you can't see one or both of the truck's side view mirrors, the truck driver can't see you. Stay out of the no zones and you'll greatly improve your chances of arriving at your destination safely. To help eliminate or reduce distractions on the road, we turn to the tips and tools that professional truck drivers and bus drivers use every day. professional truck drivers know that they have to plan their trip and determine what they need to do to make their delivery safely before they ever get in the truck. Before they turn the ignition key, they check to be sure their mirrors are adjusted correctly, that items they will need later are correctly stowed away, and that their phone is muted or set to go to voicemail. Then, they fasten their seatbelts, the most important action any driver can take to ensure survival in the event of a crash, before they put the truck in gear and head on their route. Once on the road, professional drivers employ proven techniques to identify and manage, reduce or eliminate the 3 types of distractions: visual, manual, and cognitive: eyes, hands, head. To reduce visual distractions, drivers perform scanning of the road and mirrors once every 5 to 7 seconds, making sure that their principal focus is on the road ahead. They know that the short glances to the truck's instrument panel, mirrors, installed communications devices, or other technology can be done safely if limited to less than 1 second. When you get ready to drive, you can take the same steps to prepare for even short trips. Adjust mirrors and the light level on the instrument panel before pulling into the traffic flow. If you're using a GPS, program it before you put the car in gear. Turn off your cell phone or put it on mute and let calls go to voicemail. Use the techniques of professional drivers while you're on the road. Perform short, frequent scans of mirrors and instruments, but always keep the road ahead and the driving task as your primary focus. Keeping your head in the game behind the wheel will help you improve your overall awareness and behavior as a driver. And when you're on the road around large trucks, be aware of the no zone and remember these key safety tips. 1. Don't cut off trucks. 2. Stay out of blind spots or no zones. 3. Maintain a safe following distance and don't draft. And 4. Understand that trucks make wide turns and need more space. Remember, eyes on the road, hands on the wheel, head in the game. By doing your part to reduce driving while distracted, you can save your life and the lives of others with whom you share the road.